Welcome to Business Ninjas. Renee, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for making time here. Renee, tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you for having me on, Andy. I really do appreciate that. So, I am the marketing director for a company called LumiQualis, and we are a global IT services company. Global, wow, that's a lot, right? Yes, I understand. But we specifically specialize in small to mid-sized businesses because we see quite often that, you know, they're not being serviced or not being informed. They're just like not being treated with the same kind of enterprise quality that you get with these bigger companies, right? So we're stepping into the space to really offer and facilitate that to people because small businesses shouldn't have to suffer, and neither should mid-sized companies, right? Simply because their project might not hit that big ticket number that other companies have, right? So just kind of the short and narrow, that's what we do.
And so when a customer is looking for your services, what are they looking for exactly? What are the problems that they're trying to solve?
Well, it's a variety of problems. Sometimes it could be a website that's just not working. It can be somebody that's always been on-prem and has decided, you know what, the majority of our workforce is going remote. Let's switch to the cloud. Or somebody has, you know what, our systems are now out of date and we need a web-based application that will communicate with systems that we already have, but allow our people to like log in from a web app interface, so to speak, that allows them to log in and is completely custom tailored to what it is that they need. So it really depends on what the problem is that somebody has and how we can solve it. But that's where we like to have these honest and transparent conversations with potential clients about what are your problems and what are you facing? Because I'll be very honest with you, LumiQualis started from an IT engagement gone bad. One of our partners had actually hired on a company to help them with developing a handful of applications. And I mean, basically what happened is they just didn't deliver. And our partner, Mike Dershowitz, he was like, I don't want other people to have to go through this. So then he partnered with Anthony Conti, and then they partnered with Martin Starhart, and amongst the three of them, there's about 30 years of experience in the IT sector, delivering quality IT solutions. So that's where we're at.
It's great. And how can people find you? What's your website?
Oh, it's LumiQualis.com. And I know you're going to say, how does that, like, how do you even spell that? It's LumiQualis.com.
It's great. And what verticals do you service? So customers of yours, give me an idea of what verticals they're in and the size businesses that they are. I know you said medium-sized, small to medium-sized businesses, but maybe drill down on that a little bit more.
So past companies that we've worked for have been like in the healthcare industry, transportation. One company specifically within transportation had like a system within all of their vehicles to help them track, like do GPS tracking on their vehicles. And the system they had in place wasn't working. It was broken somewhere in the code. So our engineers came in and they assessed the code. They found the breaks in it and they fixed it. Another one that we did was like for a nonprofit over in Philadelphia. They just basically needed a website because nowadays your website is like your brochure to your customers, telling them what you're about, what you do, and why you do it. So we got that up and going for them, set up ways for them to be able to accept donations. And then another one is like a BPO company, right, that we are working with on creating an application for their people on how to educate themselves in finance, how to develop their entrepreneurial skills, right? So this sounds like a bunch of different areas that we're hitting, but at the end of the day, what it is we're solving problems for our clients, but we do it in a very detailed way. We hold discovery workshops, right, to find out through the people, not just the owners who say this is the project. We go to their people and we say, what problems are you facing? And what kind of solutions would you like to see? And then we draft out what those solutions would look like. We build the UI, the wireframes, and then we have their people simulate the experience of going through them. And it is because of that process that we're able to really create solutions that actually work for our people.
Love that. I love that. I've done a lot of user testing myself and building MVP that kind of way with wireframes, and getting people to step through that process and validate that is critical. So it sounds like
Hmm.
there's a lot of project management also that goes with what you're doing so that you're not only laying out the product implementation, but you're managing the project with and for the client.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is like where our values of like honesty and transparency and authenticity are so important, because the way that we communicate, how often we communicate with our clients, because we're an entirely remote company over 12 different countries, right? The primary language that we speak is English. Everybody has a high level of proficiency. I don't want you to think that we don't. But it's just we really value the way that we talk to each other and the way that we speak to each other, right? I know I'm repeating myself, but there cannot be enough emphasis in over communication in how we do things, and that's pretty much the same way that we treat our clients, right? We want you to know exactly what's going on, full visibility. Like we're not going to hide anything from you.
I love that. And that sounds to me like that builds a great team culture within the company, and knowing
Yeah.
happy employees make happy customers. And that's a tangible kind of experience on the customer side.
Oh,
Tell,
absolutely.
tell me a little bit about that. Like tell me a success story or any stories that where people have experienced that kind of uh, uh, company culture in their engagement with you.
So I would have to say, let me think into this really quickly. We have, it's an ongoing project right now, so I won't give too much away,
Yeah.
right? But we have people on the Pacific, right, in the Pacific time zone,
Mhm.
working with our engineers who are over in like Thailand, so to speak,
Yep.
right? You know, very different ways of understanding somebody's tone when you speak, priority, importance, but because that high level of respect and a desire to always understand is always at the forefront,
Yeah.
it allows us to be able to communicate with each other about needs and expectations,
Hmm.
right? Um, and that's really the most that I can say about that.
Yeah. No, that's great. And do you use tools like do you use Slack or Microsoft Teams, or what kind of communication tools do you use in your
So
work?
we do use Slack,
Yeah.
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 And part of like our onboarding process, like when we bring our people on, is we explain how we use it and why it's so important that we use
Yeah.
it. And then we kind of like go into the settings and features of, even though you're in a different time zone, we still want to respect your working time. Like you need to set your working hours, right?
Hmm.
And then we have specific channels for different types of communication, because you still need to be able to have like your water cooler moments, right? Your
Sure.
coffee stand moments, you know?
Absolutely.
And in our case, you know, we'd share memes and funny videos, right, on one channel. And then in
Love that.
another channel, we will have, we have a challenge, like a biweekly challenge called What's for Breakfast, Lunch, or Dinner, right? Where
Yeah.
people will send in to me like pictures of their food, right? So the team has to guess whose plate of food that is and what it is that they're eating.
I love
Right?
that.
um, and it's so much fun. Like me personally, I'm a foodie. I love to cook.
Yeah.
So being able to see like these different dishes, I'm like, oh, like how do you make that? Like, you know, whereas like other people are like, I can't believe you eat that. Like that looks terrible.
I love that kind of stuff. It's great team building kind of things. And, it's little
Mm-hmm.
things like this that really makes a difference in a company culture and also in client engagement too. That kind of the respect and camaraderie that goes with all of that becomes a unique kind
Absolutely.
of aspect of the company. So switching to the business side of the business, tell me a little bit about how you generate revenue.
So we're very fortunate right now that our founders have been in the industry and have networked with different businesses for, like I said, over 30 years. So
Mhm.
predominantly the work that we have received as up to now has been either referral or by introduction, right? Either Mike or Anthony or Martin, you know, will be at an event and somebody will be like, hey, like I'm having problems with my website, or the company that I hired to originally do this for us is not fulfilling their end of the deal. And we need to get this rolling right now because they have deadlines, right?
Yeah.
And so then that's where our teams will jump in and begin to assess, you know, what's going on. You know, this is what it's going to take to fix it. We can either offer you a Band-Aid solution for right now just to fix it, but we are also going to tell our people, hey, long term, to get this to continue to work and, you know, serve you and your clients, this is a solution that we recommend, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Band-Aids only get you so far.
Yep. Exactly. That's the scalable solution. And is it mostly like on a per project basis that people pay you, or is it on a time and materials kind of basis, or what's usually the revenue model?
So it depends on what it is that we're working on. You know, some
Mhm.
projects are going to be more long term, right? So like the one with the BPO agency, that is like a 1.5 year long commitment, just because we're doing so much there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another one that we're doing where it's more research based, we're just doing time and materials there, right? So it depends on the project, right? Because we also want to, we're facilitating small to those medium-sized businesses, right? So we want to know what is it that you can afford, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to be limiting their ability to access quality solutions, you know, simply because their budget is set up a certain way, right? So we're willing to work with them on that.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about content. What value is content added to your company?
What value has content added to our company?
Yeah, in terms of your content marketing efforts, how has it created
Mhm.
value?
I think it's helped legitimize us. Why do I say that?
Yeah.
Because if you research other remote only companies, you go to their social media pages and they're blank, they're empty.
Hmm.
Who are you? What are you about? Who are
Yeah.
your people? Right? How do I know that you're not like just like a bunch of bots and you have your people working in like a factory setting? Like, no, like we want to make sure that if people go onto our LinkedIn page, if they go to our Twitter page, if they go to our Facebook page, they're going to be able to see what it is that we're doing and how we're doing it, that we're real and we're genuine people, that you don't necessarily just have to go to our website, hit our contact us page to communicate with us. Shoot us a DM, you
Yeah.
know?
Very cool.
Yeah.
What are some of the main social media channels that works for you or that you engage with prospects on?
I'm going to have to say the majority of them is on LinkedIn,
Hmm.
only because, I mean, that's more what that platform is tailored for.
Right.
Twitter and Facebook, I think, are more relaxed.
Hmm.
Whereas with LinkedIn, we're going to have more of those professional, so to speak, conversations. We're going to get straight down to business. You know, yeah, we'll catch up a little bit, but we want to know how can we help you because we value your time, right? So I would say LinkedIn would have to be our primary guy.
Makes sense. Tell me about your marketing strategy for educating prospective customers. How do you look at that?
So right now it's just like our daily post, but we're really looking into how can we write blogs and quality material that's going to educate? Because a problem that we're running into is that companies or business owners will hear about a certain technology solution and they automatically think that it can easily fit into what their current technology stack is,
Yes.
right? So then we're reformatting the way that we educate and explain things. So I think that over the next 2-3 months, our people that follow us on LinkedIn are really going to be able to start to see that because we're not just going to go to other people, copy their stuff, and you know say it's our own. No, like we're looking at the actual problems that people are facing right now and the gaps in their knowledge, and we're going to come in here. We're going to start filling that in. We're going to explain to you why maybe you know AWS or GCP, the Google Cloud provider, or Azure would work better with your current stack if you're trying to go on the cloud, right? So, or you know, you wanting an application made, depending on what your wants are, it might not be ready tomorrow or next month. It might take a couple of months, but we're going to explain to you why. Because we want to give you quality at the end of the day, something that's really going to last and grow with you, not something that's just going to fix my want for the moment. Does that
I
make
love the
sense?
holistic approach, and that discovery process is so critical so you can unpack it and provide the right solution for the client.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So if somebody's listening to this and they want to reach out, what's the best way to reach out? How do they, what's your preferred method of getting in contact with them? With the
See, this
business?
is where I really need to work on boundaries, Andy, because, you know, if people want to reach out to me on LinkedIn and shoot me a message, I'm not going to tell them no. You know, if
Right,
you guys want to
good.
shoot me an email, it's Renee, RENEE dot Reyes, REYES at LumiQualis.com. You can shoot me an email as well. But yeah, those would have to be the two primary ways for them to get in touch with me right now.
I love it. Well, this has been great, Renee. Thank you so much. Renee Reyes from LumiQualis. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy.
All right.